Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in this nice hot summer day here, at least in Pennsylvania. We're excited to introduce you to the first XMM platform. XMM merges RMM and PSA capabilities and underpins it with Microsoft 365 multi-tenant management and security all in one place. The platform is designed to simplify your operations, secure your customers and your users, and help you scale your business. So, my name is Richard Dean. I'm the Director of Product Management. I am focused on Microsoft 365 integrations and functionality. That's why I'm here today. And my partner in crime here, our demo master today, is Steve Horn, Strategic Account Executive. Steve, if you wanted to take a second to introduce yourself.
Yeah, and we always got some people still trickling in and stuff like that. But my name's Steven. I'm on the sales team, so I'm going to be the one that's demoing the platform. But I've been here for about 4 years, so I'm excited to answer all your questions and get things moving in the right direction.
All right. And then we're going to unpack why we think you should be considering Syncro. So we're going to give you a little insights into that area. And then we're going to jump into exactly what XMM is. And then Steven's going to give you a demonstration on many of those new capabilities that we've introduced this year. So let's start on how Syncro helps MSP streamline operations, serve more clients, and grow their profitability. The first thing I want to point out, number one, is our unified platform. Syncro brings together RMM and PSA capabilities that you're familiar with, from ticketing to endpoint management and patching and scripting, but it also brings together Microsoft 365 multi-tenant management and security capabilities. But it goes way beyond that as well. We have over 50 integrations, things like PAX8 billing, that allow you to do third-party billing of your services, accounting integrations like QuickBooks and Xero. We also have the Syncro Marketplace that allows you to buy tools like Bitdefender or Proofpoint with no minimums. And then we also allow you to bring your own remote access if our native Splashtop isn't to your liking. So we really have all of that capability under one single platform. So you can manage everything in one single place. The second thing I'll point out is we hope to maximize your efficiency and your profitability. We have functionality with built-in AI around search and ticketing. We have advanced scripting capabilities that allow you to script in any language you prefer. And we have advanced auto remediation capabilities built into alerts and into ticketing that gives your text the ability to do more with less, freeing up capacity and boosting their bottom line or boosting your bottom line. Number three is rapid implementation and return on your investment. One thing you can bet with Syncro is you're going to be able to quickly onboard and see immediate improvements in your business workflows, seeing a return on investment in days, not in months. And then finally, we're simple, predictable pricing designed for growth. Our per user pricing with no contracts or onboarding fees means you can scale confidently without financial risk. Now, that's how we support the managed service providers, but what if you're managing an internal IT team instead of external clients? So let's go ahead and take a look at what Syncro can do there. So for internal IT teams, Syncro helps simplify your day-to-day operations. We hope to improve service delivery without adding much or any complexity to that process, because we know complexity is death. The first thing I want to point out is our unified management on automation. With our unified platform, you can discover and manage your users, your devices, all your network access or assets, in one single place. Give you the ability to automate routine work with AI search, advanced scripting that we were talking about, and auto patching to free up time. Number two is to accelerate issue resolution and end user satisfaction. We give you abilities to around smart ticketing which routes issues faster and lets you customize workflows so your team resolves requests quickly and meets your SLAs. Third, we hope to help you gain strategic focus and reclaim your time. With less manual work, your team can focus on bigger projects that move the business forward. And then four, and finally, is our dedicated support and community resources. You also get direct access to experts and a strong peer community that we're building and growing today to help you, to give you the help you always need at any time you need it. So whether you're managing external clients, internal clients, Syncro gives you the tools to simplify, secure, and scale. So let's get into what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. So what is XMM? XMM stands for Extended Management and Monitoring. What we'll be talking about today, or what Stephen will be demonstrating, are some of our new capabilities that are centered around Microsoft 365 multi-tenant management. Things like managing users and their access, and assessing, monitoring, and reporting on your Microsoft 365 security postures. So not only a single tenant, but across all your customer tenants. So Syncro XMM, its goal is to simplify your tech stack because we know that it's very complex. We want to help you secure your users and your environments that you're managing. And we want to help you scale your business by merging together the capabilities, the functionality of RMM, PSA, and now Microsoft 365. So now it is demonstration time. Steve and I will stop sharing and hand it over to you, sir.
That was all great information, but now it's time for the fun stuff, right?
Indeed.
So we're gonna go through exactly what Rich was talking about. Now, before I dive into this, like he was talking about, obviously there's demonstration on the platform, but there's a live question and answer a part of this as well. So please ask any questions in that question and answer section. The chat is kind of usually tough to keep track of, but that question and answer portion we can see and be able to handle from there as well too. So all questions into the question and answer form. But
Thank
cool.
you for
So
the reminder, Stephen.
yeah,
Always got my back.
that's all right. I'll probably say it like three more times too. So, but yeah, we're gonna kickstart now. So, first portion that we're gonna kind of dive through is how we connect Microsoft and where that kind of tailors from there. But right now we're looking at Syncro. This is our assets page. You can filter this, customize this how we need to with different columns. But the nice part is you always have access to the information that you need at the click of a button or just at a quick glance. And part of that tailors into how you can get quick view modules in a lot of different portions too. So this is loading right now. Once it loads, it's going to have a bunch more information. Looks like Alex's device is having some issues.
Is that,
Um,
sorry, is that the new view you were speaking to me about? So,
a little different. No, yeah.
okay.
Well, I'll get to that
All
one.
right.
No, this is
I
just
was,
something not a lot of people notice in Synchro, but anytime there's an asset, you have a quick view this asset. So any custom field, any system details, quick kind of things into running a one-off script and things like that as well.
love it.
Now, with Microsoft, that's going to be handled in our administration portion, right? So in our admin tab, we're essentially going to be onboarding a new tenant of Microsoft. Now, the cool part about this is it can be done as a single tenant or it can be done in a CSP kind of format too, right? So your teams, just envision, will have obviously hundreds of these tenants that you'll be managing in a single pane of glass. No longer do we need to log into each one of those to handle identity management or our security baselines, different things that we might need to do on a daily basis that we're doing multiple times a day and taking 10 to 15 minutes each time to do that. We can now do that within Syncro. Uh, Now, all of the documentation and things like that on how to set this up will obviously be readily available for you. Little quick access guides to be able to pull, connecting your tenants, mapping your tenants, enabling that Entra sync. All of this is readily available for you. Now, obviously, we already have tenants connected, and you can see it looks like they were actually just synced not too long ago. But we're going to go ahead and click into the Guardians of the Galaxy one. Now, once we come in here, we're going to start to see some base information about this tenant. The secure score is readily available, how many users they have. But part of this also tailors into how we set them up. So that portion is how we can edit what users sync over, right? So what organizations, what users are we connecting? All office organizations, all departments, what groups of people are we putting in here as well? License statuses. So you can start to get granular with how that information starts to filter into the system. That will then obviously start our sync with Entra to be able to pull that information in. All of this stuff will populate, and we'll get more information as we dive deeper into these organizations and continue to go there.
And
Now, go ahead.
I was going to say, and this keeps the user data in sync, and I think it's every 2 hours, if it's still correct. Yep.
That is correct.
So any of those deletes, changes to user, metadata, it's going to be reflected here.
Yeah. So you don't need to manually do it. It'll continuously sync for you on a schedule. So any changes will update there as well. Now, bringing in once these tenants are kind of connected, it's starting kind of like the onboard of the new organization. Let's say part of that's going to be done through network discovery. So being able to easily scan, find what's out there, and then potentially take action on what's out there as well. This is what is new, Rich. This used to be a little pop-up. Now it's over to the right.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
creating those scan profiles based off of certain things, right? So connecting it to a node that's already on the network, that's going to be your device that goes out and scans. From here, we're going to select an IP range and subnet like we did down here. But now you're going to have a couple more options. So part of that is being able to toss through SNMP all the way up to V3. So you can put in your credential management there, whatever your authentication protocol is, any context names, whatever you need to do from within that scan. In addition, anything that we can deploy an agent to, we will then go ahead and deploy those agents as long as the credentials are correct, and then apply the correct policies to those specific devices as well. And now you're probably like, okay, that's all good and great, but if that just runs once, that's not very helpful. So during the discovery portion, you can do a couple different things as well. So you can set these scans to run recurringly, let's just say once a day. And then anytime that goes ahead and finds a new device, you can then be notified about those devices prior to taking action on them. So just allows you to keep a continuous pulse of what's going on in that environment. And then all of that information is going to filter into your devices section. So this is the device table that we got over here. I'm going to go ahead and filter this by IP address, but you'll be able to see all of the information. You can pin stuff over to the left. You can filter down based upon certain aspects in here as well. But more importantly, you'll be able to see what's managed and unmanaged from within here as well. So part of this, we went to try and deploy the agent. It looks like this one failed. So if I just hover over install failed, it's going to tell me why. Well, we had the wrong credentials, so that's clearly not going to work. But if we just come right over here, we can update those credentials and then reinstall or reattempt that install of that agent. Now, once that goes, it'll then obviously deploy as long as the credentials are correct. So just allows you to obviously onboard your organizations a lot faster, but also see what is out there touching the network. Can't tell you how many times I've heard it before where people go to sign up a new client or everything's signed. They're like, oh, yeah, we only have 10 devices. But really, and they have about 40. And you're like, okay, well, what about all these? So it allows you to just get a better scope of what's going on out there and then obviously control the environment in a more secure manner.
Stephen, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
The network profiles, is there a general need to have more than one per org, or is one enough?
One should be enough. Now there could be different areas. Kind of depends on the organization itself. Maybe in a more internal IT setting, you'll see multiple scan profiles if they have multiple subnets because it might be easier to track those devices with multiple scans. But if it's just one organization, one location, one profile should be fine.
The interface looks very smooth, looks very intuitive. I liked it.
Yeah, appreciate that. Uh, so obviously a lot of this stuff is kind of going to start to trigger stuff. So like we mentioned, as the agent gets installed, we're then assigning a policy to that. Now, those policies are going to be doing a couple different things in the background. That can be applying Windows patch policies, that can be deploying software, that can be then mostly just pushing to anything you want to monitor for, low hard drive space, failed login attempts, whatever that may be. That's going to start to trigger all of those monitors. So as that happens, you're going to start to see this alerts tab probably start to light up a little bit because they haven't been taking care of their environment, which will then allow for everything in here. So now what's nice about this is, if we don't need that, it'll list it out. Now you can filter this as we need. You can search for specific names, you can search for organizations, you can go through however we need it to be, but you can also see if certain things already have tickets. Now that might have been some automation behind the scenes. You can then either create a ticket from here as well, or you can even create a remediation that'll run automatically based off of certain things. Obviously, you can tell all these are kind of fake alerts at the moment, but if anything like low hard drive space, we can simply just create an automation from that and be able to handle this without human interaction, right? So easy enough to just probably run a script to have it clear out all the basics on the machines. And then from there, it'll go ahead and clear out the alert. But you can also handle different tasks within here. That can be simply posting it to teams, that can be converting things into tickets. Just depends what actions or workflows you want this to take. And it'll be able to do all of that from there. So automation behind the scenes is going to be everywhere, but can really help in a lot of different areas as well. Now we're going to take it a little bit more on what happens if my end users do have issues. So there's a lot of different ways. Obviously, end users can place in tickets. I'm going to essentially act as one of our end users here, where I'm going in through the backgrounding tools, but this would look essentially like we were placing it in from the end users portion. So I'm going to do it from our system tray. Policy specific that allows you to create customized menus to offer things like live chat, as well as the ability to enter in a specific ticket. I'm going to list this one as M365 and just say I've been locked out my account. If they had a need, they can also include an image of their screen. And they're going to go ahead and send that request. So even if they can't access their email, they'll still be able to enter in tickets. All of that is going to be branded to the organization, your organization, not to Syncro, which just allows for a more cohesive kind of pattern there. Now from here, a couple things will happen, once again, based off some automation or just some workflows that we have set up. Now, what's nice about this, everything will filter into this ticketing section. So from here, you're going to be able to see a couple different things. One, we can handle essentially any sort of changes directly in line from specific tickets. So if I need to update anything, I can. You don't have to go into the ticket to do everything. But we've also created some different views over here. Some people might call them boards, right? So this allows us to obviously to organize a bunch of different areas of issue types that can then filter into certain things. So in that specific scenario, that was a Microsoft 365 ticket, right? So I have a specific view for anything that relates to Microsoft 365. You can see what comes through over here, 2 tickets, how long ago they were. You can see they were put in by different people, which is pretty nice. Now, if we were to come in here in this scenario, and this is where it looks like, well, let's find out what this one is. I usually don't get too creative with my things. Yep. So they're locked out and they need a password reset as well. So from within here, we can start to do a couple different portions of things. One, if I need to track time, I can do that. Two, they put it in through the system tray, so it automatically attached that asset, which now allows me to see all of that information. I can remote in with Splashdot. I can go through the backgrounding tools. I can run scripts or live chat that end user at any kind of point in time, right? So different things that we can do from there. Now, in this scenario, we're going to kind of show off more of that XMM and that Microsoft 365 instance. So since they are locked out of their account, we can simply come down here to the assigned contact on the left. There's this handy button that allows you to view the user details. Now I'm popping it into a different tab, just a little easier for me to come back in and do things like that. But if I need to, I can just simply come in and reset their password. So now from there, it's going to ask, am I sure? And I'm going to reset that password, which then will provide me a temporary password to provide to the end user. and it'll sign them out of all their devices. So it makes it a little easier from that regard, right? So a couple different portions to that. I didn't have to sign into the Microsoft tenant. I was just able to do it right from within Syncro. So if this was a different tenant or a different organization, same process, right? I don't need to do anything else from there. Now, in to tailor off just a tad of other information that EntreSync's going to pull, it's going to pull in some Microsoft user details, right? Principal names, MFA statuses, and methods. The last time they were active, they must have been locked out for a long time, so they must not do much very often. But they've been locked out for about 22 days, so hopefully that'll help that. From here, you'll also be able to see the last 5 actions. In addition, in the table portion of the end user tab, you'll be able to see things like Microsoft licenses and things like that too. So lots of different information it pulls. You can obviously add some more columns, manage them, pin them over to the left, whatever's most important, but easily enough to be able to comment back. Oops, if you type it and then provide the password. If you want to do it that way, or if you want to do it with them over the phone, whatever is best practices for the team, you can go ahead and do that. Simply add that note and you're all set. Now this ticket would go ahead and get resolved and you're good to go. When we click back into our ticketing, we have a lot of different areas once again, right? So there's obviously some more end user actions that we're going to showcase, but they all follow that same kind of protocol. So if I was to click back into my Microsoft 365 stuff, I'm going to come back in here. We're going to pretend a little bit that maybe they need their MFA reset, and we're going to do something very similar. So a couple different actions within here. I'm going to continue to use my person because I know that no one else is using that. But maybe there was a different process we needed to follow. So you can see a little bit of automation that was done behind the scenes on this coming down here. So it noticed that this was an M365 ticket based off of the subject title that it came through. So it automatically added a ticket tag, which is what then sorted it into my M365 ticket view. Maybe we have different portions to stuff. I'm just going to add a worksheet real fast, but maybe there's some standard operating processes that we need to follow when it's an MFA reset. We can build those processes directly into the system, have them trigger by automation, kind of like I just did by adding a tag. And then your technicians can then follow those steps from start to finish. They can enter in information. It'll always say who did it. They can be there by just friendly reminder, or you can go ahead and do the other process from there. So a couple different aspects within the tickets here. But we're going to go ahead and kind of showcase off some of the other details that we have here. So the other actions are going to round out our identity security story, right? Making sure that we can take care of that environment in a secure fashion from an identity user management perspective. So we went through reset password. The 3 other actions that we have are being able to reset MFA. You can block them from signing in, and you can revoke their sessions. So those last 2 of block, sign in, and revoke sessions were just released not too long ago. But essentially, they're taking that forefront of, I think this user has been compromised or has been impacted in a specific way. So while I'm investigating that, I can block them from being able to do things or revoke them from starting stuff as well. Now, easily enough, if hopefully it's not that scenario, we would just be able to process that. And I apologize, these last 2 actions are in early access with an imminent release. Let me rephrase that. Thank you, Vance. I got a little excited. Let me put it that way. But first 2 are fully out. Bottom 2 right here, block, sign in, and revoke sessions are currently in early access. But those allow you to do anything. So even if we thought that end user was compromised, I mean, we can easily, before we even go to do this, maybe we need to make sure there's a ticket for this, just so we have our portion directly from within that end user contact. I can quickly just make a ticket. Fill out some couple little things. It'll create that ticket, and now we're in. I can add time, do whatever I want, and then come back over here and then block their sign in or revoke their session. So it's easy enough to be able to maneuver through the platform and be able to handle that stuff. We're now going to tailor into the next part of our Microsoft aspect here, which is going to be our security baselines. And then being able to create those assessments based off of that. So as we come in here, we're currently have version 1 of this released, which provides the security essentials of Microsoft 365 security best practices, right? So there's 22 current rules. All of this is here to help measure drift. It's monitored twice a day. You can notify based off of anything. So if this is a rule I want to be notified on, I can set that notification and I'll be notified in the manner that I choose. Now, all of this is going to follow the SIS framework of Microsoft 365 for their best practices, but you'll be able to assign these to these specific tenants to be able to get compliances and secure scores. Now, version 2 is going to expand on these baselines, continuing to like bring in more. Obviously, there's a ton of these rules, right? But you'll be able to bring those in and assign those specific things for that as well. But the fun part is when you attach it, it's going to say exactly where you passed. Well, if we pass, we don't really need to dive too much into that. But if we fail, we can click on any of these rules and see exactly what those rules are. Now, I know what you're thinking. Microsoft changes how we do stuff a lot, right? But not only is it going to give you a detail of what we got going on, the framework that's there, what category it falls into, but it's also going to give you the prescriptive remediation instructions for that specific rule. So we don't need to guess on how to fix it anymore. No more guessing on how to get it to a pass. We should be able to bump these secure scores up in a pretty timely manner just by simply following these remediation instructions. Some of them will have PowerShell scripts down here to be able to use as well. In the future, obviously trying to automate some of the remediations for more simple controls as we continue to go through. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I clicked in, but it'll bring you right to what you need to do for some of the stuff and continue from there. So easily able to pull this information, attach them to the tenants, but have a good baseline of what's going on from a secure perspective relating to Microsoft. Is there anything you would add to that baseline section before I throw in the assessments?
No, you hit all the high points, man. Good
All
job.
right.
Like
Uh,
even it's prescriptive, prescriptive.
oh, once you mentioned that word, I made sure I never forgot it. So the last part of this is going to be the assessment side, right? So this is all great, obviously, but only you guys can see it from a Syncro perspective. So easy, one-click access to create an assessment directly from here. It'll be branded to you guys and then your clients down there, but it's going to start to break down the different aspects of that assessment. So their organizational overview, what's going on from a license perspective or software usage perspective, how many users do they have and what's the breakdown of that? It'll then compare them to organizations of their same size, which is great to build value on what obviously MSPs or internal IT departments showing your value of, hey, we're 25% better than everyone else. Or hey, we just joined on, you can see we're 6.38% below where other organizations are of that same size. But continues to break it down into easy to understand kind of areas. Don't necessarily need to be technical to know that a red X is terrible and that we probably failed. So continuing in those regards to be able to handle stuff, and then it'll just continue to give you more detail that you might want to share with your clients and things like that as well. But no longer do you have to go in to the Microsoft tenant. So really easy to handle all of that stuff. Save some time, manage it from a single pane. And obviously this is just an area of the platform that we're just going to continue to improve and continue to strengthen and things like that. But that's our overview of XMM. Continue to ask questions in the Q&A. We'll get to those here in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I think we just have a couple more things prior. I believe there's going to be a poll coming out here in a second to be able to handle certain stuff as well. If you're already a Syncro partner directly from within your Syncro instance, you can obviously chat with us at any point, but you can also go to the Syncro community. We put a lot of information up there and top tips and things like that. But you can also chat with your favorite Syncro people directly from within the community as well. And then, of course, if you are not a current partner, feel free to reach out to me at any point in time, or just sales@syncromsp.com.
Now on to
Let me
Q&A.
get to let's see what we got here.
I think the first one we may maybe you share your screen out again, is how do you set up Microsoft
Yep.
365? We kind of briefly went into it, but maybe a quick refresh would help.
Yeah. So from within Syncro, you're going to go to your admin section. Under RMM settings, you're going to see Microsoft Tenant Management. Once you click into here, if it's the first time you've come into this section, there will be a pop-up that'll show up down here on the right. If you've come in and you've exited out, that's not an issue. You can simply hit the question mark up top, and it'll have your little guide on how to push through that. So um, you would just simply follow these steps that you're going through. As you can see, I'm only 14% of the way through, but it'll continue to showcase how you do that with guides that happen. So you can continue to hit get started or learn more, and it'll process through that. It should be pretty full-fledged in that area.
Yeah, and this supports individual tenants and your CSP. If you're a CSP, you can collect that data as long as your DJAPs are set up correctly.
Correct. I'm going to take Jacob's question real quick. Does XMM currently support any direct integration with PAX 8 for automated license assignment and management? So automatic license assignment, no, but what it does support is the integration with PAX 8 will allow you to take whatever you're purchasing within PAX 8, pull it into our recurring invoice section, and then allow you to seamlessly bill for that. So gone are the times of you purchase licenses and then forgot to add it to an invoice, or gone are the times where we removed licenses and we were still billing our clients, right? It automatically pulls that information so that you don't need to handle that in a manual fashion anymore. Nathan, are you referring to the system tray icon? Or I think that's what it was. Um,
He says
Nathan,
yes.
what? Okay, did he? Oh, perfect. Sorry. Once I shared my screen, it moved my question and answer thing. Yeah. So these are all policy specific within here. So it doesn't have to be a one size fits all. You can even assign a policy directly down to a specific asset. It follows an inheritance model, so very similar to GPO. But within here, it's a brandable logo. You can have different things like a live chat. It's a two-way async chat. They'll be able to simply ask you, "Hey, I need help." See, I don't get very creative. I just keep what I'm used to. And then of course technicians can respond back. The other portion to that is they can enter in tickets or have quick access links to like the customer portal. Now, if they're assigned to a device, all of their information will pre-populate. And then from there, they can put in their information, include images of the screen, and then you'll be all set.
Did that answer your question, Nate? Yeah, he wants to automatically reset the password based on a ticket trigger, I think.
Gotcha. That's not available yet. Now, depending on what you want that workflow to do, you could probably take some steps prior, but probably done by design, Rich. If
Yeah,
I'm
and I
correct,
mean,
you don't want systems just automatically reset passwords. I don't think.
I was going to say that may be problematic. Also, sending it over email instead of exchanging it through some other secure means, maybe even if it's internal chat, is more secure than probably email. Um, so, but I think it's possible.
So, Pete, Team XMM is team plan for the most part. Um, that team plan is where your Microsoft 365 integration is going to live. That's where network discovery is, your advanced motions of automation, um, things like that. So don't need to no main difference there.
Someone asked, what if I don't have the option in RMM dropdown? I assume he's talking about the Microsoft 365 configurations or the setup that you showed. That's only
It's,
available for team subscriptions. So
right.
if you're on core, then you need to look at Teams.
And if that is a case, Nathan, are you a current subscriber to Syncro in a trial account? Okay. Um, I'm gonna have your representative reach out to you, and they can show you about that. I found you. Cool. I know who that is. All right.
Got another one that you may be answer from Grant. Are you able to map the name field in the agent contact form in the auto ticket creation email template? It's pretty.
What are you trying to map it to, Grant? Answer asking for who is submitting tickets. So in that form, yes. So even if they're not um, assigned to the device, like if no one's assigned to the, let's say it's a front desk computer, multiple people access it all the time, that field will be blank. Now from there, it's just what you require. So that field will be essentially manually inputted. It'll show who put that in. Now, if they're a contact or an end user within the system, it'll auto pull that information and assign them to the ticket. Then you'll be able to report on that information after from the reporting section within Syncro. So it just really more depends on how you want to set that up. But if it is that situation where multiple people use a device, then I would just leave that. Obviously, don't assign anybody to it. Require those fields, maybe first name and email address, because the phone number is probably going to be the office. That way you can tailor it and track it to a specific individual. The email leaves out the name and contact info. Nathan, I reached out to your representative. They'll be reaching out to you here today.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this one means either. If I interpret it correctly, they're looking maybe for a workflow with approvals around actually doing some of these actions like resetting passwords and resetting MFA. Um, at this time, there's no plans for that, and I don't think we're capable of doing that at this moment, right? We don't have any approval workflows to my knowledge, Stephen. I don't know if you know.
Like Lee was typing.
Ah, okay.
Hold off on that one for a second. Yeah, Grant, if you can email me, I put my email in on your question and answer. It's just stephen.horn@syncromsp.com. We'll figure it out. The anonymous attendee that asked about the resetting users 365 passwords in XMM and prompting for MFA as a second layer of authentication. I lean towards what Rich said, but we'll get you an answer. I'm not positive.
I'd like to thank everybody for their time, their
Yeah.
attention, and their questions. We always appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone I told that I would follow up with, or just email me, just take care of that. I'll make sure we get through it today. Um, Feel free if anyone has any other questions, obviously, to reach out to me as well. We'll be able to help you out. We got free trials that you can test this stuff out. It's all active in there, except anything that's in early access, but able to get you up and running so you can kind of see how much easier it is to manage Microsoft and handle a lot more things as well.
Right.
But if there's no more questions, you guys are letting us off easy. I appreciate it. Then I guess that might be it.
And the summer.
Yeah, it must be. Everyone's too exhausted from the heat. I think I
Or
saw
they're on
earlier.
or they're on vacation right now.
That's true. I saw something earlier. I'm in Florida. It was like I think the feel like was like 109. And
Yeah,
I was like, I'm just not gonna go outside.
it's probably best.
But yeah, I think that's it. Uh, yes. Yeah, okay, perfect. Caitlin's on top of it. Yeah, so anybody who did miss any part of it, just in case you didn't see that in the chat, it will be emailed out to anybody who did obviously either show here today or signed up but was unable to attend. So you will get an email with that probably in a couple days, maybe early next week. But feel free to reach out to us or our support staff if you are a current member of Syncro. And everyone else, enjoy your day. We look forward to hoping to show you a little more within Syncro.